Spike it up, holding on, Trigger, you've done it, you champion. Spike it up, wins, stays to the lead. John's going to take out the Dudley Justice, and that's Mr. Ali. It could be, he's fighting back. Oh, look at him. Spike it up, does it.
Yes, welcome to episode 2 of Mobile Rolling. We will bring you up to date with all things harness racing. Today we're at New Spot Motors at 2020 Main North Road, Salisbury Park. They're great sponsors of harness racing, always have been, and it's nice to be out here in their showrooms today to bring us a show. I'm joined today by Liz and Jimmy. Welcome,
Rocky.
You two.
Yeah, Lizzie.
How are we today?
Very good.
Very good. I just want to have a quick chat about a couple of runs on Saturday night.
Yes.
One I think Blinding Light was a ripper run Saturday night. 4 wide early, then 3 wide, then finally got to the death and still had the audacity to pull for the last 800 metres and got beaten by a couple of metres.
Yes.
I just think it's ready to win no matter where they place it, either here or Mildura. I think it's ready to win.
Yep.
Another one I like, I think Teresa Nielsen's got Glenferrie Bunter going very well.
Okay, yeah.
They scooted home in 57.8 I think it was, and she was 20 metres off them and got beaten 13, so I reckon that was a nice run. So I only finished 5th, but I think it's going pretty well. But there's one thing, with the new rating system we were talking about last week with Ross Neal. I reckon Jake Webster has found the bargain buy for South Australia through his research of Western Australian horses. He's picked up a horse called 3 Kings, who won first up last Monday, and it's now in Saturday night in a $7,000 race. I know he only paid $4 for it. It's won $188,000 in prize money and comes here as a 47 national rater. So virtually it comes over here up to $188,000 as a C1.
Yeah. I believe that horse is raced in the ownership of Jake's mum, Lizzie.
It is.
Yeah,
she doesn't know yet.
Oh, doesn't she?
No. Hasn't got a clue.
I used to work with Lizzie at Tab Radio years
All right,
ago.
yeah.
And look, they'll be getting a great thriller. You make a very good point. He's researched the ratings, and look, there's a few others that have done the same thing. Claire Gable's done the same with Smackwater Jack from West Australia. They're getting horses that are rated low there, but will be extremely competitive here. And spot on for that for sure. So, look, it's a matter of people researching and finding out what they want. And doing well, and I think you've hit the nail on the head there for sure.
Yeah.
Just quickly, I want to talk about something I've been promoting the last 2 or 3 weeks, the Drivers' Premiership. Well, it came to a situation which was a little bit tricky. Simon Ewan, the chair of stewards, rang me up before the last 2 races on Saturday night, knowing that Danny Hill and Ken Rogers were level pegging as far as the Drivers' Premiership was concerned. Ken would be the winner on a countback of seconds. But Simon Ewan said there's a horse that Ken drove earlier in the year which was under inquiry and most likely would lose that race after the inquiry is finished later this month.
Right.
So what that meant then, if that horse had lost that race, then Danny then would be the most successful driver of the season. So they threw a curveball at me. I didn't know how they were going.
We've
I just let it go to the
tread
keeper.
water for a little while.
I just got to let it go to the keeper. But right here, right now, Ken Rogers is the winner of the Drivers' Premiership. But that could change down the track. Anyway, that's something that came up on Saturday night.
No.
And but furthermore to that, I mean, you're still going to go through the process of taking swabs of particular winners. So all the winners that Danny has driven and or Ken since in the last week or 2, if they've swabbed them, they have to wait for those swabs to come back as well. But anyway, now, getting off of that, Lizzie.
All this gas bagging over there.
I know. Now, later on in the show, you're going to catch up with Gordon Carter, who's the clerk of the course.
Yes, I am.
So tell us about that.
Well, so we went out on location earlier in the week, and I got the pleasure of catching up with Gordy Carter out on course, and decided, because the avenue we want to sort of go down is to be able to educate more people who know nothing about harness racing, some of the ins and outs of things. So we got into a bit of the nitty-gritties of what Gordy actually does out there, what his role is, and the importance of his role. You know, where he is there in the middle of potential danger, by if a horse does come into a situation, it's up to him to get in there, get that horse and driver out of that situation in the middle of the race. And even down to things like out in the Grand Parade ring, making sure all the drivers and horses, they're all coming out in their actual correct numerical order, even though some don't. That's his job to be on task to ensure all those things run smoothly. So it's that, just giving that bit of knowledge, you know, what does this random person do who's sitting out there looking like he's having a nap in the middle of the course during a race, that his role is actually vital. And, you know, without him and the other clerk that attends with him, if they couldn't make a race meeting, there couldn't be a race meeting. They must be there. They must be part of that. Otherwise, then nobody can race for the night.
Interesting.
Very good.
We'll have a good look at that interview
I'll
later
be
on.
looking forward to that.
For sure.
All right, well, that's it for our opener. We'll take a break and we'll come back, and we're hoping to catch up with Stephen Norman from Allenby Lodge.
Hi, I'm Darryl Hall from Tyre Power Cheltenham, where you get the buying power of a huge range of tyre brands. We stock all major big brands: Toyo, Tumo, Mickey Thompson, Maxxis, Michelin. So come down and see me at Tyre Power Cheltenham.
Welcome back to Mobile Rolling, and our very special guest we've got is a famous name in harness racing in the Norman family, and it's Stephen Norman. Stephen, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Rocky.
Good on you,
Pleased to be
Steve.
here.
Yeah. Hey, look, the Norman family, I remember when I was a young man, where I received the CH Bob Norman Memorial or Bob Norman Award for being a young participant within harness racing, and it was one of the biggest thrills in my career as a young guy, and that was virtually through doing things, I suppose, for the industry as a young man. But I suppose you as a Norman part of the family would be proud that your family name is held in high prestige within harness racing of South Australia.
Very much so, Jim. Yes, the family name, while the influence in the industry has waned to an extent, as various children, grandchildren may have not stayed in the industry, but certainly the name, along with the Webster name, of course, which we were associated with many years ago, are both still very strong in the industry and certainly do carry some weight, which I'm very happy to uphold. The name and the respect that it's accorded, and so I myself tend to like to perpetuate that, and certainly act accordingly and do for the industry what the name should be doing.
Yeah, a couple of household names there that Stephen's mentioned, Rocky. Back in
they
our
are.
day when we were younger guys.
Well, they worked for me because coming from the Riverland, they were the names that I knew straight away were Webster, Norman and Stugars. They were the three names that stuck in my brain when I finally made the move down from the Riverland to here, and you could back their horses with confidence all the time. But Steve, in your case, like, you're still absolutely passionate about the game and you're a good trainer in your own right for many years, then all of a sudden you go away. How do people in the industry decide I'm not going to train anymore?
In our case, I guess it was through the late 80s when the recession we had to have bit in. I know I can only speak, I guess, from my side. Primarily, we were training a few horses then, but the breeding side was the money maker.
Right.
But for us, in that period, and it coincided with us also having or about to have young children, but we were professionals in what was largely still a hobby game.
Yeah.
And so when you're trying to make money out of what is most people's hobby, when a recession comes, people naturally, they're not going to contract on their business or their job, they'll focus on their job or their business. And so they will shrink down on their hobby.
Yeah.
When we're trying to make money from that people's hobby, then obviously our business shrank also.
Okay.
So at the time, myself and my wife Tess, we went into a business news agency, in fact in Gawler, with my in-laws, and so that virtually cut the training back. I was stuck in breeding for a long time. I think we didn't have a stallion for some years, but finished up still with the breeding, and then now back in, of course, with Major Secret.
Yeah, Allenby Lodge has been famous for breeding nice horses, but you were, I spoke to you quite a while ago when you first got Major Secret, or were going to get him. You were really excited about him.
I was. I vividly remember saying to you that I was, and I mentioned to Rocky just before going to air, that I was like a little kid.
Yeah.
That's not embellishing it. I was like a little kid. I was that excited. We'd been offered a lot of stallions. I had been looking over the previous approximately 3 years, and we had been offered lots of stallions, but nothing that I thought was good for South Australia.
Yep.
It had to be something that I thought was long term. It had to be relatively young. And it had to be something, the principle was, it had to be something that I was confident to put my own mares to. So if I got a stallion purely to make a few dollars, but I wasn't confident to put my own mares to the stallion, then that was the wrong way to go about it. So Major Secret very much ticked all those boxes. He was available to purchase, so we bought him. He's owned in South Australia.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Jimmy, just for the people who've probably heard of Major Secret but not fully aware of what he does, first thing that I noticed when he was racing, he was a favourite of mine, but he's a big, strong horse, almost a thoroughbred type looking horse when he races a 2 and 3 year old. But if people think, oh yeah, he's a pretty good horse, well, he's got wins over Hector JJ, Massini, Bling It On, Major Crocker. Who else did he knock off? Isaiah from New Zealand. So the horse is an absolute beauty, and it's a real credit to Steve to bring something as strong as that into South Australia. And for $1,500 service fee, gee whiz, I think he's a terrific stallion.
Yeah, and furthermore to that, Steve, I mean, when he won the New South Wales Derby, I think he broke the world record at that time, didn't he?
At the time, it was a world record for 3-year-old colts and geldings over 2,400 metres, mile and a half.
Yeah.
Yes. That's since been broken, but certainly at the time it was a world record.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we don't have many of those in Australia, world records.
No, exactly. Tell us about him.
Okay, so as Rocky mentioned, he is a beautiful specimen. I've listed him at 16 hands. I think he's probably 16-1. What I've said to people is that he's the sort of horse we should be breeding today.
Yep.
Some of the, to be honest, the old blood that I've had, you mentioned the normal family back, I've got one horse from that, because I think that the blood we've had no longer is relevant in today's racing.
Okay.
So I'd like to be breeding the sort of horses that would be competitive in New South Wales and Victoria. So if they fall short, they're still going to be very competitive in South Australia. But Major Secret is a big, strong, strapping horse. I like to think I go okay in the arm department, but he can pull me around at times. And he's a magnificent specimen. His race record speaks for itself. He had 53 starts, only for 460,000. I should know that off by heart. And only raced at Menangle twice, so he never got a chance to run that low 150 time.
Yep.
But nonetheless, it was at Menangle, of course, in one of his win there in the New South Wales Derby final, which was a world record. So I'd love to have seen what he could have done over a mile. And of course, the race record, that's there for all to see.
Lane to sprint lane, but Major Secret will lead all the way. Major Secret beats Turum Lane and Bespoke Artist third. Good.
Elope, Major Secret clear, and he'll win again. Major Secret, Pete lets elope. Well, Cold Major didn't.
The bloodlines, you don't have to research too far. It's probably, if not the best, be in the top 3 or 4 families in the stud book. In fact, only just recently, one of his sisters produced Out to Play, who won the Vic Bred 3-year-old colt final a couple of months ago and ran second in the Breeders' Crown final, $200,000 race only a couple of weeks ago. So the family just goes. And for generations, they've been going back to the progenitor, Larrakia Lady, who's his great-grandmother. Every level since then has produced good horses, good young horses also, and they race on. So Major Secret, he won he actually ran second in our Southern Cross at his second start. Southern Cross final, his second start. He started favourite that night, ran second in that his second start, then won the Vic Bred $100,000 race final. We should have some races on that people will be able to see. As a 2-year-old, won the New South Wales Derby as a 3-year-old, and he was starting even then to develop fetlock problems.
Yeah.
So that curtailed his 3-year-old career. He only had 8 starts. Ran second in the heat of the Victoria Derby in the same preparation, then came back as a 4-year-old and just kept winning. Horsham Cup broke the track record by 2.4 seconds over 2,700 metres. So he could do it short. Tasmania, the Launceston Cup, the Tasmanian Cup, the Geelong Cup. There was a number of group winning races that he was both winning or very competitive.
So how's the interest going at the moment, mate? Are you happy or?
Look, we'd always like more, of course. I guess we're never satisfied. Last season, we got 20 mares. He did his part. He got 19 of them in foal. So there was no problems there. It's actually building. I think with the dry summer that we had, the lack of feed, the cost of feed has slowed up when you say the bookings. So it's just starting to be honest, starting to happen now that the weather's warming up. People are realising we're into the breeding season, and so the bookings are starting to come in now. And I'd be expecting that he would get as many. We're looking to do some promotions with Lordy for those who bred to him last year. We'll get a discounted service fee for this coming season. I've yet to properly announce that. I'm just working out the details. We're looking to have a night at Globe Derby, similar to what Aaron Bain Racing did a few months ago on SA Cup night, to get people along, ply them with a little bit of alcohol and get some bookings on the night, ideally. So, there's nothing that can't be done without alcohol, I believe. So we'll do a little promo like that and do...
we'll be there.
It depends how much you drink. Might have to book a couple of mares, but we, ideally get some bookings on the night, and bookings on the night will also attract a discount.
Sure.
So we're looking to, ideally, I'd love to actually beat the 20 from the first season.
Oh, good on you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's Major Secret. Allenby Lodge with Stephen and Teresa Norman. Look, on the screen, there's the details where you can phone up Stephen and make a booking with the best kept secret.
Absolutely. It's no longer confidential. It's a major secret.
All right, mate. We'll take a break and we'll come back. And Liz Barbara is going to catch up with Gordon Carter.
Just Wrecking Toyota, South Terrace Wingfield, for all your recycled and reconditioned parts. Our huge range covers almost every model in the vast Toyota stable. Proudly South Australian with over 25 years in the automotive recycling industry. So, if you want to save some serious money on anything Toyota, call us on 8359 4499 for fast and friendly service.
Welcome back, and hi to the boys back in the studio. Now, today we're here with Gordy Carter. For those of you who don't know what Gordy Carter does down here at the racetrack, he's one of the clerks of the course. So he's one of those people who sits in the middle of the course and has a cat nap whilst all the horses go around. Only joking. So, Gordy, fill us in. Just give us a little bit, what is your role description?
We're clerks of the course. So what we actually do is we're agents for the stewards out on the track. We monitor things that are going on. We get the horses in the parade ring, get them in order, parade them out onto the track. We're basically there for safety. If something happens to go wrong, then ourselves and our horses have got to go into action and actually catch the loose horse or catch a driver that's lost a rein, they're out of control, horses are bolting, and we're there for safety.
Yeah. So you're putting yourself at risk having to do that, and by keeping those horses who are competing, racing, you're ultimately having to put yourself at risk. So you need to be able to, you and your horse need to be able to work one-on-one, I presume, to be able to assess the situation and act instantly.
Absolutely. You've got to have the hardware R&D. If you haven't got the horse that'll do the job, you can't do the job.
Yeah.
No humans.
So me going out there on my Shetlands, no good?
No, you're not. You're not quite going to get there in time. You get yourself run over. So the horses are a crucial part of that.
Yeah.
You've got to have a horse that'll have this demeanour. He'll stand here and he'll do absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And at that, he'll have to go into full flight,
turn on and go
and
for
put
it.
himself in danger and catch a horse and then help you pull it up.
Has there ever been an incident when, because I know as well there's two of you, there's always two out on the track.
Yeah.
Has there ever been an incident where you've been in such a position where you've had to make a judgment choice to get in there and really put yourself in harm's way to save a driver?
It's an unfortunate situation if you have to get into that stage where you actually have to say, no, I'm going to get myself into trouble here and I'm going to cause more problem than what's going on. So you have to wait until the horse gets itself clear of a field, or the drivers are so well trained in that they'll make a hole for you to get in there and get control of that horse.
And they communicate with you as well during these situations?
Absolutely. If you're coming in to catch something, you'll hear the drivers yelling at you what horse it is and what the problem is, you know.
So it literally becomes almost a team effort out there on the track doing your roles.
Absolutely.
So it's not just you and your partner out there doing it, and your two horses, it is everybody in that field as well.
Everybody. When something goes wrong, you need everybody to react the right way to the problem that's happening. You know, if there's a horse involved in the middle, then you'll find that they'll open up and let us in or let the horse out. If they let the horse out of the field, it's easier for us to catch it.
Oh, brilliant. And do you get incidences where a piece of tack might come off the horse and cause an incident, or is it more a case of just horses colliding out there on the track?
Everything can happen. A horse can just be going along fine by itself and just cross its legs and down it'll go. Knee boots will fall off. Horses will jump things like that on the track. Pegs, they knock pegs out. So we've also got to keep our eyes open for those problems. And if the track attendants can't get there in time, they're dealing with another problem, then we've got to go across, jump off and try and do that as well. So it gets pretty adventurous, but you always got to sort of pay attention to what's going on.
Oh, absolutely. And what's then the behind the scenes relationship sometimes, say between yourself and all the drivers? Can it become tense as well, like, you know, back here in the stables, or is it more, you know, thank you so much, here's a bottle of champagne for saving the day?
I think you'll find that 99.9% of the drivers will have a massive amount of respect for what we do. 99% of the time we don't do anything.
Have that catnap out there on the track.
That's right. We just sit there and we look like we're doing nothing, and people go, well, what do they really do?
But your eyes and the horses and your horses are
We're always
waiting.
tuned into what's going on during the race, and you know, even the horses are that tuned to it. They'll hear crashing of wheels and yelling and screaming, and they'll start heading towards that spot. They know something's gone wrong.
And how many years of training would you have you perhaps put into these two horses that you two use currently to get them to that position where they're at with this role?
It's hard. Some horses, I've had a horse that had actually been ridden 11 times in his life, and I brought him here clerking. The 14th ride of his life, he caught a loose horse. He's just one of those natural freaks that take the job. But it's a demeanour of a horse. You can't have a horse that's going to be flighty or just get himself revved up to the point where he's just not going to cooperate with what you're doing. You need to be able to go from standing still to flat out to standing still again. It takes a very unique type of horse to put up with all the yelling, screaming. You're in amongst, you know, and some racetracks we're only metres away from them yelling and screaming and whipping horses, and they've got to just stand there and do nothing.
And accept it that that's what's going on around them until the moment comes that they have to step in and do their job.
That's exactly right.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, I know we definitely appreciate you from the sidelines doing the job that you guys do, and I hope everybody out there does as well. And we hope to maybe get you back in on the show again over the next few weeks and months of the series.
No worries. We'll bring Sportsy into the studio.
Absolutely. That would be awesome. All right. Thank you so much for joining us, Gordy.
No worries.
And
thank you.
back to the studio to you boys.
See the boys down at Modry Battery Services. With over 40 years of experience in batteries, stocking the largest range in supercharged batteries with more power, longest life and battery warranty. They specialising in auto electrical and aircon regas and repairs.
And welcome back to Mobile Rolling. We're joined, Jimmy, by Jack Beshara again for Jack's punting corner and his horses to follow. Jack, you've got a couple that we need to follow this week.
Hello, Rock. Hi, Jim.
Yeah, Jack.
Couple to follow, Did all right last week. Place get a Major Rainbow.
Yeah, it was nice odds.
I want to talk about that because I'm the adjudicator, right? So you threw out Major Rainbow as your bet for the weekend.
Yep.
You threw out Tap the Keg as your bet for the weekend.
Did I?
Yes, you did. So, as an adjudicator, I would suggest that after watching the races, tapped the keg, obviously hurting Rocky because it was heavily backed.
Yep.
Disappointing performance.
Yep.
Major Rainbow, very good odds, Jack. Paid about $4 a place, didn't it?
It did, yeah.
So, no, that's a good
didn't win,
Good warm-up, Jack.
but the score as adjudicator, Jack is on 1, Rocky is on 0 from last week's session.
Enjoy the view from the top, Jack. You won't last long, mate.
Okay, we'll see what happens now. So well, what have we got? Probably a 12 meeting season. Again this season for our show of mobile rolling. So at the moment, Jack's got the lead.
Right, we'll maintain that.
Yes. But Rocky doesn't believe so.
No,
so I'm just wondering, Jake, Rocky was a tipping sensation in season 1.
Yeah.
Whether the pressure of having competition, like he just used to throw him out, maybe the pressure is crumbling. What do you think?
Well,
you know him fairly well.
He's got competition now.
You've seen this list? Let's go, Jack.
We go back a long way.
All right, so what do we got this week?
This week we've got Smackwater Jack, got his foot right on the till. Very hard to beat Saturday night. He won't probably lead, but he will get a good run in transit and he's ready to win.
Going really well. Has not run a bad race since joining Cleargable Stable. Running home in some really fast sectionals. Only problem is a little bit one-dimensional, Jack. No gate speed. Has to rely on a little bit of speed in the race, but does come home very, very fast.
Second last start to take my picture, mister.
Yep.
Was 3 wide late. They ran home in 57, 28, 28. Very good run.
Good section.
Very good.
All right, Smackwater Jack.
Yep.
Smack on the inside, in front, Take Me Picture Mister's going to be too good. Take Me Picture Mister first, second, Smackwater Jack, another good performance, but the race was run against it.
Next one?
Next one is Futurist. He sat in last start, didn't come out for some unknown reason, and it was uncharacteristic to his normal pattern.
Yep.
He's in a smaller field on Saturday night. He won't sit back on that horse because he loves to run, and I think that he'll work around the field and be too strong for him.
So if Darren Billinger drives him tough, you reckon he'll win for sure?
Well, it's Darren Billinger's best tribute to drive his horses tough. As he trains good, and they run tough. Steinman the same, but I think Futurist very hard to beat Saturday night.
Can't argue with that at this stage.
Futurist with 100 to go. He's starting to get away now. Billinger goes full steam, and Futurist is going to be too good. Regal Knight will grab second in front of Majestic Luster. Late Mac Cruiser, Sub Magic.
And the third one is Iraq Bell. Has had no luck in its runs. It was behind a horse that galloped last start. Very good run to start before. Very good gate speed. And it's got very good chance of winning on Saturday night.
Okay.
And
10 metres, he's going to be too good. They tried to stitch him up early, but he kills them. Regal Scribe goes on to win by 11 metres. Second, Georgie.
Futurists mightn't be the odds, but Smackwater Jack and Iraq Bell will be odds that you can back.
So you're expecting Futures to be odds on?
I think it'll be even money odds on. But I think even money would be a very good price.
Okay, so how do we assess these? Are these the specials or are these the horses to follow?
I think these three will be very hard to beat Saturday night. I'd say Futurist a special, Smackwater Jack a special.
Okay.
Iraq Bell needs a little bit of luck, but he wouldn't surprise for wins.
All right, so let's assess last week. Last week you threw out horses to follow. Alcatraz Lass. Driven Aggressive, crumbled. Went awful. Worst run since she's been here in South Australia. Call Me Tomorrow. Went around at Mildura. Driven Aggressive, went to the front, crumbled. Last 500 metres, I could have run past her.
You could have.
It was disgraceful. Regal Knight ran on really well for 5th placing.
It's ready to win.
So do we just follow these horses, or do we forget about those?
No, you give them another chance. You must give them another
All right,
chance.
well,
every horse.
I think you've got horses clashing. Now you've got Iraq Bell on Saturday night. I think it clashes with, is it in Call Me Tomorrow's race or Alcatraz Lass's race? I thought I saw.
Yes, it's in.
So which one do we follow?
I think you stay with
Iraq Bell?
Well, the barrier draw of Iraq Bell, barrier 3.
You're confusing me, Jack.
I can see some pressurising on Jay Beshara
what's
here, mate.
going on here?
Listen here.
So we'll go into our tipping competition, Jack. All right, and I've got a name for it.
Yes.
I think it'll work really well.
Okay, I'm going to write this down.
Yeah, it's called the Tipsters Using Real Data.
Yep.
Okay.
Tipsters Using Real Data?
Yeah, or TURD for short. Right? So we'll call it the we'll call it the Turd Award. All right.
Right. So we're going to find out who's the best.
So that's why
turd.
Jack's one in front now, but I'm pretty keen to win. Pretty keen to win this week.
All right. So have you got one or two specials this weekend?
We're only going to have one in the tipping award.
Okay. So you've got to list one and one only, Jack. So out of Futurist or Smackwater, Jack, which one's your special?
It's Futurist.
Futurist.
Futurist. I'm going for Blinding Light. It had no luck at all last week. 4 wide, 3 wide, pulled outside the leader when it finally got there, beaten 2 metres. Gamble responsibly, Jack, but sell the kids and have a bet.
Yep, we've done that before.
All right, so Futurist for Jack, Blinding Light for Rocky.
Yep.
Okay. And the horses that Jack likes, Smackwater Jack, Futurist and a Rag Bill, all racing Saturday night at Glen Derby.
Night.
Anything that you want to throw out for us to follow? Or just stick
No,
with the special?
no, I've got
Blinding
a couple.
Light?
I've got a couple, but we'll worry about those next week because Jack took up all of our time this week.
No, we can't always get things right because it's driver error. When you pick these, so we do all the form for hours and hours, and then they get out.
So whenever you don't pick a winner, it's a driver's fault.
Driver error.
That's fair enough.
Yeah. And training.
Yeah. All right. Thanks again, Jack, for coming in. You're leading 1-0.
Yep.
And that's just beginner's luck. That's what I do.
Right.
You know, make you feel good about yourself. And next week I'll just.
I've always felt good about
just
myself.
smash your head in, but that doesn't matter. Thanks for coming in, mate. We'll have a look next week to see how we both go, and the adjudicator will let us know the scoreboard.
Thanks, guys.
We'll be back after the break.
Pronto United Finance provides a professional, friendly and personalised service, offering competitive consumer lending solutions for whatever your current lifestyle finance requirements may be. We offer secured and unsecured loans for all types of items and occasions, large or small. It might be for a car or motorbike, a boat, a jet ski or caravan, and even horse floats. It might even be for a holiday or wedding. Contact us today, get your pre-approval in place and your mind at ease. Pronto United Finance, putting your personal needs first.
Okay, welcome back to Mobile Rolling. That was reflecting on the show, Rocky. The Gordon Carter thing was pretty good. What Liz did, I thought.
Yeah, she's getting better, I reckon.
Yeah, very
Be
good.
nice to me.
Yeah, we are. Look, in all seriousness, I've always been, and what Liz pointed out before was that the clerk of the course has the responsibility of turning an unsafe situation into a safe situation.
Yeah.
And they do sometimes have to go to dangerous territory, but they're very skilled in what they do.
Yeah.
And I've always said this, that I believe that the South Australian clerks of the course that we've had over the years are equal to, if not better, than anywhere in the world.
I have to agree.
And Gordon Carter does a very good job as well, for sure. Because we've had heroes in that area before, like Dick White was, he was clerk of the course in the last ever Wavell meeting.
Yes.
And went on to Globe Derby and so forth. He taught Stephen and Michael Pearson, who was sensational at what they did. They had support from Viv Heath. Jimmy Metten, to name some of those others that were there. But I think South Australia can be very proud and upstanding about how the good quality, and now we've got Gordon Carter, of course, the good quality clerks of the course that we've had here in South Australia, and I have seen some amazing efforts by those people on the back of the horses. Yeah. So well done, Liz. It was really good.
Good on you. Are they, just before we finish, back when there was all standing starts, were they even more important back then, or has the mobile made it even more so that they've got to have their eyes everywhere on horses, or the standing starts a little bit trickier?
I'm not really sure how to answer that question. That's a good question. I think there was at one stage where we used to just have one clerk of the course, and then they decided they definitely needed two. I remember Michael Pearson, I'm pretty sure it was at Gawler Trots, and there was 2 horses loose. And he grabbed one horse in the right and one horse on the left. He got both of them, and they lifted him off of his actual horse that he was riding. But he was amazing what he did, and I've seen some really amazing things by these guys. But yeah, I'm not sure if the standing start or the mobile made it. The running rail being removed has made it a little bit different as well. I remember Dick White telling me the story where at Wavell, when they had the running rail, they had this praying, it was standing starts at Wavell. he quickly grabbed the first one, gave that to the track attendant, jumped his horse over the rail, run across the infield, jumped over the rail on the other side and caught the other horse as well. Yeah. Whereas now they've just got free rein to go there. But what that also does, give the horses the opportunity to run on the inside of the track and maybe not so easy to control. But usually they keep on the outside track, but there is that option that they may go on the inside. So, but yeah, hats off to all of our clerks of the course over the years for sure.
Yeah, it was interesting, you know, a few of the incidents he was telling me about after the interview, he was telling me about one in particular where horse actually ended up out on the road. And it was going down Port Wakefield Road.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
And he's still out there chasing that horse down Port Wakefield Road, and the cart had hit the Stobie pole, or one of the light poles, and it went one way, the horse went the other. And then the horse just still kept going, and there he was, scooting down Port Wakefield Road, chasing after this horse. So,
bloody hell.
You know, it's just really highlights the importance of, you know, what they do in so many ways.
No, good story, Liz. Well done.
Well done.
Anything else?
That's it, I reckon,
Wrap
mate.
it up, Lizzie?
Definitely.
Okay, that's it. Season 2, Episode 2 of Mobile Rolling. We'll be back again next Thursday.